مساء الخير للجميع. أهلا بكم جميعا في برنامج جديد عن الموضة والأزياء والفن. البرنامج تقدمه الفنانة التشكيلية سمينة شازاك من تنزانيا. هذه الحلقة هي الحلقة الأولى، وإن شاء الله ستستضيف في الحلقات القادمة فنانين مصممين وفي خبراء تجميل وشعراء. ستكون حلقة البرنامج سيكون شامل بإذن الله. معكم أنا فاطمة غدارية من الدنمارك، رئيسة منظمة همسة سماء الثقافي الدولية ومديرة همسة الدولية، ومعنا أيضا رشيد خير الآن سوف يقدم كلمته باللغة الإنجليزية. وتفضل أستاذ رشيد.
Hey, good evening, all of you, our honorable guests, to this new program that Dr. Fatme gave and explain about it. It's supposed to be a very brilliant program that added to our other programs. We are very delighted also that Miss Samena Sachak will be the presenter of this program, and I believe that she is going to give us a very attractive program with a very characterized guest. So we thank you all. Thank you, Samina, and thank you to all your guests. And we are waiting to hear them. تفضلي.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Samina Sachak. I'm from Tanga, Tanzania. I'm a wildlife artist myself. And it's a great pleasure to introduce Sakina, the great poet, the writer, and the educator. Welcome, Sakina.
Thank you, Samina. Thank you, everyone. It's indeed an honor to be amidst you here. A really great opportunity, and I'm really thankful to you all. Thank you.
Okay. So I think we should start now. Sakina, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, I'm a teacher by profession and a poetess by passion, a mother of 3 kids, born and raised in Mombasa, Kenya, and residing in Tanga, Tanzania for 23 years now.
Okay, so do you come from a little background?
Yes, my grandfather was an Islamic writer. My father is a lyricist and a poet. My sister is an author and a poet too. So yes, it all comes from genes.
Okay, great. So yes, I wanted to ask you, how do you get, how did you get started on writing your, I mean on this writing journey?
I was in the classroom when I was in primary school. I was 13 years old, standard 7, and we had a deadline. We had to submit our poetry. So our teacher said, today is the deadline. Where are your poems? And I was like, you know, usually I used to ask my father to write for me everything. And I had, you know, and the time had passed. So I said, oh, now we had no choice but to write. But upon submitting, my teacher had a huge grin on her face. And she said, good. And that boosted me. So 7 other classmates came to me and said, you have to write for us too. So on that day, I wrote 8 poems at a go. And that was the beginning of my journey. After that, I used to write on paper. Those days, we didn't have Google or things like that. We didn't have social platforms. So I used to write on paper and give it to people, give it to my friends, look for their approval, whether they approve or they don't. I used to post it in international mailing lists like Malumat. some Islamic mailing list. And then I used to, I really used to love going on stages. I would never miss an opportunity to go on stage, whether be it wedding, school programs, women gathering. And later on, I started making inspirational videos by my pen name, Sakina's Poetry Petals. I was on YouTube for some while. We used to post inspirational videos.
Okay. That's nice to know, Sakina. And yes, another question. Are there any poets or writers who influenced you?
Yes, in my life, I think my father was my greatest, support, because he is the one who would guide me in essay writing, in writing debate points. He is the one who has enriched my vocabulary. Those days we did not have Google, so it was just one-to-one support. And my mother also, I must thank her for whenever we would go to the supermarket, I would rush and buy activity books. Activity books are really fun. So, and when I was a little girl, I used to love reading newspapers, Sunday newspapers for little children. So I never missed reading newspapers, the kids section. And I used to read a lot of books as well. And I used to love quotes. Since I was a little girl, I was in love with quotes, and I would not miss reading it wherever I would see it. Yes.
Okay, I would just like to interrupt. I can see Dr. Ibrahim is here. Dr. Fatma, can we bring him?
Yes,
Can
yes,
we
I see.
ask
Yes.
him to talk a bit? Dr. Ibrahim?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. We were waiting for you. Yes, I would like you to say something, please.
First of all, let me say thank you for this opportunity, and thank you that we have you under HAMSA organization. Really, and thank you for the delay for being. I'm in running meeting now. I guess I need to finish, then I catch up. Thank you, guys. I'm following up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, Sakina.
Yes.
Okay, what author? Yeah, you're back now. What authors did you enjoy reading as a child?
Okay. When I was a little girl, my neighbor Sonal, her father used to bring a lot of books for her. I did not have any books to read, and I used to love reading. So her father would bring Ladybird books, and I would be the first one to read them even before she could. So I read all the Ladybird books. Later on, I read Enid Blyton books. Our school's library provided these kind of books, and I think all schools should have an active running library for children like me. Like when I was small, you see how it benefits us all. So I used to read Annie Blyton and later on Nancy Drew books full of mystery and suspense.
Great, great. How do you develop your poems? Please, can you guide us a bit through the stages?
Okay. Usually it just pops us as a line, whenever I'm in the middle of cooking or even washing my face, doing an activity or with the children, it just comes. And I always, usually stop and just pen it down. Unless if I'm with the kids educating them, that's when I don't, I just block it because you can't do that. So usually whatever I'm doing, I take a break, write it down, and I have a habit of completing the poem right there and then. I just have to let it just roll, write it. And usually I have very little editing to do because my thoughts are like, I don't like to change it, that is why my poems don't rhyme much, because when I start rhyming them, that's when now I have to change all my thoughts as well. So I like it as pure and clear as it flows. Yes.
Okay. So, and yes, a very yes, I just wanted to ask you, are you the member of any literature forum or? Yes, and how did they influence you?
Okay,
If you are.
I'm a member. It all began when a friend introduced me to a literary group on Facebook. It's motivational strips.
Okay.
And later on, I joined How to Write for Success, World Nation Writers Union, Kazakhstan. They made me a member of it. It's a very prestigious group, World Nation Writers Union. And
Great.
then Poems Against Violence, Suicide Prevention. So I started joining all these groups, and there are a lot of competition. And when you are with other poets, you are aware of their different mindsets and their perspective, and you learn a lot.
Okay.
And when you write your poems, you get, only a writer can understand you better, or another poet will understand and appreciate your work more better. And that encouragement, that boosting, it lends power to my wings. And that's how this progress has come up.
I am very, very proud of you. You have
And
achieved.
I have been awarded by Gujarat Sahitya Academy on
Okay.
India's 74th Independence Day,
Wow.
and by Trinidad and Tobago's recent Independence Day.
So that is great. You have really achieved well.
And I'm a contributor of Citizen newspaper of Tanzania.
Great.
Regular contributor.
Oh,
yes.
that's nice. That's nice. So, okay.
And I have participated in anthologies like Saving Lives Against Domestic Violence, Volume 1 and 2, Crossroads, A Spark of Hope, Volume 1 and 2, Break the Silence, and my work has been published in many other magazines as well.
That is nice. So, do you plan to write a novel, and what is it about?
Okay, I want to write a novel which enthralls readers from the start. It's going to be about love, betrayal, suspense, tears, joys. Romance genres are my favorite, and I plan to put up my poetry book and one book on relationship as well, because I've been writing articles on relationships. So my work is actually complete. I just have to go into the final stage of publishing now.
Great, great. Okay. So where does the inspiration come from? All this writing, yeah.
I used to admire, when I was a little girl, when I was just 9 years old, I used to admire the author's photograph at the back of their book, those glossy pages and their lovely faces. And I used to say that when I grow up, I'm going to be an author. And my latest inspiration is Brenda Muhammad of Trinidad and Tobago. She's a very humble person, a banker turned into a writer. She's a best-selling author of 40 books, and she also guides anybody who wishes to write in her Facebook page, How to Write for Success. So she has been a great, great inspiration to me.
Great. Inshallah, you will succeed.
I mean,
okay. Who do you think would like your story, and what kind of leadership are you aiming for?
Okay, adults for my first novel, and later on, I really wish to write bedtime stories to reach at the younger audience. Why bedtime stories? Because when I was a little girl, I was inspired by my father, who would make up his own stories, and they were full of fun, intrigue, mystery. So both my sister and I, we are really interested in bedtime stories.
Oh, that's nice. So, okay, tell me, Sakina, what is your message? What is your message to the world? with your writing?
With every choice that you make, be ready to face the consequences. Be true to one another and cherish all your blessings, all the blessings that you have in life. Please cherish them and never take it for granted.
That's nice. That's nice, Sakina.
Thank you.
So okay, let's go off a bit and say that describe your working day for us.
Okay, I usually wake up early in the morning,
Okay.
and as I told you, I'm an educator, so I'm committed through the day till afternoons, and in between, like throughout the week, I'm committed to other literary groups where we recite our poems, 1 or 2 groups, poetry literary group and English club. So I have that work, and then sometimes I guide young girls. Some girls come to me that, you know, they are amateurs, they want me for guidance, or some people want me to write essays for them, theme cards, and so on, you know. So I'm usually busy, and cooking is my favorite hobby. So my best time is at night when everybody's asleep and there is silence. And as they say, for poets, there is no time. And especially if you see me awake at 2 o'clock at night, I am the moon and the star kind of person, you know.
Yeah, I think that is
like I could be awake anytime. Like, no, like for poets, it shouldn't be strange that what is she doing at this time, at this hour. So those are my favorite hours, nighttime.
I think that is for all the artists. I think that's the
Yes.
favorite time. Yes. So what is your writing process like?
Okay. Every learning process is unique, and every reader has a unique method. There is no comparison. But as you keep writing, lessons keep unfolding, making you into a better writer every day. The discovery is entirely yours to make at your own time.
Okay. Mr. Rashid, do you want to say something to Sakina in between? Dr. Rashid? Mr. Rashid? Okay, I don't know. Okay. Okay, so yes, Sakina. Who is your favorite living poet?
You can guess it. My father, my mentor,
Yes. Yes.
because I write the same kind of poems that he has taught me. You know, we love nature poems, and our style is very similar. So he's the first one, is my favorite one. And there is another person in Dar es Salaam. His name is Shabir Bhai Jamnagarwala. I enjoy reading his poems. Brenda Muhammad. Then there are some poets in India. Lily Swan, Sonia Batra, Rupi Kaur is from Canada. And there is Khalida Khan. She's a 90-year-old lady, I think. And Najwa Zibian.
Okay. And who are your favorite past master poets?
From Shakespeare to Rumi to Robert Frost, Paulo Neruda, E. Cummings, Maya Angelou, John Keats, Oscar Wilde.
Okay. I'm just waiting for Dr. Rashid. I don't know, Mr. Rashid. I don't know where they are.
Rashid.
Yes, Rashid. So if he wants to ask something to Sakina. Or should I continue? Okay, Sakina, how did you get first published?
First published in newspapers when I was in high school. I won a second prize. It was on drugs. The poem was on drugs. I mean, those were my newspaper publishings. And as I said, I get published in Citizen newspaper as well. And I have co-authored my work in several of anthologies, many anthologies, and many magazines in Kenya, Tanzania. And as I said, I have 2 of my books ready to be published, and I'm in the process of publishing them. Poetry book and a book on relationship.
Okay,
and many more to come, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay, before, let's just break down, and I need you to say a poem for us, please.
Okay. This poem, I dedicate it to all the artists of the world, because my poem contains emotions and colors. I've used colors as emotion. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
And
yeah.
the title is Uncaged to Fly. The sky awash with peach, apricot, and cream. Samena, these are your favorite colors.
Yes, they are. They are. Yeah.
Fluffy sorbets of color, melting scoops of ice cream into the horizon. It resembled the fused array in her heart. Euphoria filled with magenta. Sadness drenched in midnight blue. Enthusiasm escalating in amber. Positivity brimming with sea foam. Tranquility serenading in aquamarine. A frenzy of birds whooping to the pinnacle of the sky, circling with hope. She lit a floral print candle into the depths of the whispering night. Luminous light revealing the twinkle in her eyes, lifting curtains of despondency to reveal exuberant smiles. Lilac leaves trembling and thin branches swaying. She rocked herself to comfort, unlocking the cage of tormented demons to orchestrate room for sweet sunshine and pink-lipped tulips to prance in rhythm. Embers of renewed hope, stirring beautiful beginnings, burning passionately with flames of unending resolution, to last for an entire lifetime, spun in a filigree of silken rose and gold, in hearty jubilation. Thank you.
That was nice, Sakina. Okay.
Thank you.
I think, Mr. Rashid, you need to ask her something.
Me?
Yes.
I'd like to ask that after a poet born after what is called emotional experience. What is
Yes.
the specific emotional experience that what you read was born? Is there a specific reason? I'll say it simply. That you wrote this poem?
Yeah, the specific reason is to bring about hope. You know, we are sometimes in a darkened world. We are in a tunnel with no light. So this is like a light at the end of the tunnel. We are promising rainbows to everybody, sweet sunshine. No matter what emotions you are in, there is hope. There is a tomorrow. There is a better tomorrow for each one of us here.
Mm-hmm. What are the different topics that you are writing about?
When I'm in a good mood, and usually it's all about nature, about the snow and about the green trembling leaves and the palm swaying. And then I like to write about suicide prevention, as we are in that group, giving hope to those people who have given up on life. And I also write about anguish, tears. You know, there are many women out there who go through a lot of abuse. So I write on that as well. And I also give them hope. Either if you can bear the situation, you bear it. If you cannot bear the situation, come out of it. There is no use. You know, long time ago, there was stigma on divorce and all, but no longer it is there. So helping women to fight and to be out of the cage which they have locked themselves in.
Many communities in different places of the world suffer. And there is some places are very deep suffer, especially in Africa. Have you wrote about this topic, the suffer of the minorities or communities, special communities?
Yeah, I do write about especially educating girls. You know, mostly it's about them, about abuse, even on little children. You know, sometimes these little school girls are also very vulnerable. Yeah.
Can we hear a poet?
Another poem, Sakina?
I haven't kept it ready.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Samena.
what motivates you not to quit?
What motivates me is that, you know,
Yes, not quitting at all.
like usually when I write my poems and when my audience hears it, I've always seen applause, appreciation. So, you know, I've always felt that winning situation, and I've really relished that appreciation. And the journey has been quite easy just because of that. I've, you know, it might sound surprising, but I've had no open haters at least. So that is quite, that has really helped me. But in the beginning, when I started writing, there was a lot of disbelief. People, even now, when I recite my poetry, they ask me twice, did you write it? Did you write it? And I'm like, yes, I wrote it. And there has been a point when sometimes I have to write it in front of them just so as to prove them that, yes, I can write.
Okay, what are your best reviews when you do a poet or you write a poet and somebody poems and the best compliment you've got so far?
The best compliment is when they tell me, wow, you need to write a book. I mean, that's from everywhere. You need to write a book. We want to see your book. And I really get very, very nice comments and reviews. And I think that is a very strong binding factor in my poetic journey.
I'd like to ask Sakina, politics, local or international, what politics mean to Sakina in general?
Politics,
Yeah.
I usually don't follow anything. I just see them as different groups. But what I like is when in the end, when they do the best for their citizen, when I hear a speech and I feel what they are saying is for us and not against us, they become my favorite heroes and my leaders.
What about the others that don't make good to their citizens?
I can only pray for them because it is really sad when the citizens suffer. So I can just pray for them because you can do nothing else, you know. You cannot curse them. You cannot wish for them to, you know, for nothing else. You just pray for them. That may God help them, may Allah help them.
Okay.
To do for others.
Samena.
Yeah. Okay. So Sakina, can you get the poem? Can you get it for us? If it's nearby or somewhere, or maybe on your phone or somewhere.
I have to check because I have written, I think, more than 3,000 poems. I'll have to
So
check.
I am sure you must have something on your mind.
Let me see.
Okay, please.
You can say me, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh, because it's in my phone, so I can't.
Okay, just
Everything
just-
is.
yes. Okay, just yeah, we can see you.
So it's saved in my phone, so I won't be able to.
Okay, Mr. Rashid,
Yeah.
you have something more to?
No, I'm not ready. I
Sakina?
thought you'll. I'm not ready for this program. I thought you'll.
No, I just thought that maybe you
Shamina,
have.
Shamina, it is your
Yes.
program. It is your program. It's
Yes,
not our
yes,
program.
yes, yes. I understand. Yes, I understand. That's the reason I said, Sakina, please, we need. Can you give us one more poem, Sakina? Can you send it to maybe some other phone or something, and then you can do it.
There is no one around here. Let me find on my laptop. Just give me
Okay,
1
please.
minute.
Okay, please, Sakina.
But I don't think so.
Okay, Sakina.
I just have a relationship article here, maybe.
Yes, please.
The article, should I read for you?
Yes, so everybody can at least see
Okay.
what.
Children thrive best. It's about children thrive best on the tutelage of both parents.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Divorce rate increases year after year. Things
Okay.
go so much out of hand that they are no longer workable. A couple should come into holy union with the sole intention of making it work, come what may. The love song when roses in cheeks fade, the hum of violin replaces with silence and boredom. Where did it all just disappear? When a relationship withers, a mother is forced to be separated from her child, or sometimes it is the mother's own decision to leave the child. Children are tender beings. They deserve a lot of love, happiness, and security. Both parents should realize that children thrive in a content and a tranquil atmosphere. So if they make peace between themselves, children will also grow into confident human beings. Some children are caught unawares. High-pitched screams and unpleasant exchanges while studying for the following day's test. There they go again, clawing at each other's eyes. Teachers complain that the child is performing poorly, but how can the child begin to explain to the teacher without revealing her family's painful secrets? Do parents realize how massively they damage their children's foundation? At times, children can live with single parent without getting affected. At times, they are introduced to a stepmother or father who is quite hard on them. The child goes through phase 2 of torture. Once, when their mother abandons them, life is never the same again. Children do weep in the dark hours of the night when they know no one is watching. Parents love their children so much, but when it comes to balancing the boat, each one thinks about themselves first. You are still young and beautiful, Amanda's grandfather would tell her mom. You shall get the best of suitors. I promise you, leave your husband. Then, what about my children? They're just 2 and 5-year-olds. They'll do just fine. Do as I say. But who will take care of them? They're too young. Right now, I have to worry about you. The father will sort it out. And Amanda's mom will give into submission helplessly. Amanda's father left with her and her sister, perplexed and heartbroken, with no mooring without his better half, his anchor, like a boat in the middle of a tumultuous sea. He cries for his partner, begs her, but the decision is taken. Believe me, children are psychologically affected. They do not have a voice and are unable to express their internal grief. Divorce can leave children feeling like defectors. Take a long time to know each other before marriage. Stay devoted and committed thereafter. Do not change along the way. Understand each other. Do not get attracted to the other fish in the sea. Marriage is not a stage play. They are no edits. Do not provoke your spouse or drive them to the wall to the point where they commit ugly mistakes. Reflect on your marriage, repair, and reinvest. The person you love has all kinds of seeds in her: joy, suffering, and anger. If you water her anger, in a few minutes, you can bring the anger out in her. If you water seeds of compassion, joy, and understanding, then these seeds will blossom. If you recognize the good seeds in her, you are watering her self-confidence, and she will become the source of her own happiness as well as yours.
Very attractive throwing poetry. I'd like to ask Sakina if has she participated in poetry evenings where and tell us about the atmosphere of the poetry in your place.
Okay.
I don't know
The thing is,
yeah.
Usually it has, as I said in my early years, it has just been on stages and during weddings for the couples.
Mhm.
But a gathering where all poets can meet, it is yet to happen in Tanga especially. So I have not had that opportunity, nor in Mombasa. I have not had that. But when the pandemic occurred, so many groups began to form, and we have had similar Zoom meetings, and we have had a very productive evenings and learning from each other. So far it has, but I really wish one day to join poetic evenings, because they usually talk about them in Oman, in Bahrain, or in India. So maybe one day, especially India, they have many poetry meetings. So inshallah, one day, I pray that I also get to avail that opportunity.
Okay. Once more question, Samina. I'd like to ask Sakina if where some of her poets were translated to other languages.
Yeah, nice question. Good question. Sakina, did you hear it?
Do you hear me?
Again, sorry.
If your poets were translated to other languages.
Or if yes, they were translated. Some Arabic language and Bangladesh language, some of them, yeah.
Translation of poetry is not accurate, exactly, because it's more
It's
motion
not
than
actually,
translation.
it is not exact. That is why I do not prefer. But there have been many poets who have asked me, who have taken my poem and translated into their languages. One was Arabic, I don't know exactly which Arab part of the world, and another one was Bangladesh.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. What are your weaknesses as a person and as a poet?
My weaknesses, I get carried away too much, I think, and sometimes it reveals everything about you. There are certain things that you do not want your reader to know. You know, there is an extent. Sometimes, you know, if it's a very vulnerable poem, you do not want your readers to know everything that is going on around you. So I think I'm a very emotional person, very sensitive, and that is my main weakness.
And yes, one more question. Who are your mentors?
As I told you, my father is my greatest mentor. And I will not forget to mention this name. His name is Juzar Bhai Sachak. He's also my mentor and an avid fan of my poetry.
Okay.
Yes, and I always look up to him and ask him. Whenever I finish writing something, I would ask him for his review, and his feedback will be very clear, you know, no buttering, nothing.
Okay. Okay, and I'd asked you who are your favorite authors, but I've not asked you who are your favorite poets.
Favorite poets, Rumi and Shakespeare.
Okay, Rumi
and most of all, it's just Rumi, because he speaks a lot about love, hope, comfort, and it all resonates with my own life.
Okay, and what would you like to say to the new writers and those who want to write, and what is your message to them, and how can you inspire them? How would you be an inspiration to them?
First of all, I always encourage them because I'll talk about my own city. Here I am. I often tell them that I'm here for you whenever you need me. And what I would like to tell them is read a lot of books. It all begins with reading. Start reading, find your favorite poet, see which poet can be your favorite one, admire his work, learn it by heart, write, submit it to magazines, to newspapers. There are some community help as well. You know, community at large also can help you. There are many workshops you can attend to. If only you would take the initiative. You know, these days people are like, I don't have time, I'm very busy, but you must upgrade your talent. You must, you know, there is no easy way out. You have to work hard for this. It really doesn't come easy. In my life, I have been busy throughout, like I've been a working woman throughout my life. The minute I finished school when I was 19 until now, till date, I've been working. But I've always found time for passion. Like I always, sleep for me is something, I know it should be important, but it is not that important for me. I like in a 24-hour day, I want everything to get done, everything. So even a 24-hour day is less for me. So I want you to be like that. Don't give it up.
And yes, and I think they should even you should be the inspiration for them also.
There are many times when I've helped one girl. Her name is Havra. She's from Tanga. And in the beginning, she was skeptical about her work. She used to meet me at the mosque and bring her poems and say, please please, can you check? You know, in the beginning, they're not that confident, of course. As like my journey was the same, so I can relate. So they would say, please, can you go through this? And I would be like, wow, for the beginning, this is wonderful. So you see, it's very important to encourage these young minds. And I'm always there for them. This is my message for everyone.
Okay, and are there like common traps or for aspiring writers? Are there something like that in writing? Like common
Pardon?
traps? Sorry, are there common traps for aspiring writers?
Common?
Traps. Like maybe they can fall into something wrong.
No, as long as you follow the usual ethics, then you cannot go wrong anywhere.
Okay.
Just stick to your values and customs.
Okay. Yes, one more question. So, yes, I think Dr. Rashid, I think I finished all my questions now.
Okay.
I'm out of questions.
At the beginning, it's great. I'm very sorry I'm not ready to share
Yes,
your question.
I understand. I understand. We still have. So I was just thinking that she should give us one more poem, but she's logging in from her phone, so the poems are in her phone, as she says. Sakina, can you just come out of camera and then maybe just give us a nice, beautiful poem for just ending this?
Okay, 1 minute.
Yes.
Mm, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, it's on nature. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I want to be by the sea, fronds of a tree, a refuge for the night, a delightful hut, palm trees swaying in the breeze, the candescent moon peeping through, bliss, serenity wafting by. Candles are lit, mauve rose petals strewn, slumber in a calming lull, the sound of sea waves crashing through the rocks, nothing but the sound of oceanic sweep. Deep into the night, the heart in sync with nature, embracing and basking in the sound of waves, drowned in its tranquility, wanting to savor life's little joys. Red and black satin pillows, a witness to dreams sweet, serenading through the moonlight, yearning to untangle from the clasps and to indulge in the sweet ecstasies of rest and rejuvenation in the laps of nature, where sweet flutes of harmony bespeak lightheartedness and love.
Nice.
Thank you, Sakina. That was very, very beautiful.
We have
Thank you.
7 more minutes. I'd like to ask Sakina to give our last cherry on this cake of the evening.
Do you understand,
Is it?
Sakina?
Okay. Maybe, I mean, a poem?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, another poem. Okay.
Cherry
1
poem.
minute.
Cherry
Poem. Okay. Just wait 1 minute.
I prefer yarn poem.
Young poem, Sakina.
Sakina, yarn poem I want to hear.
Young poem.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. The fusion of arts and poetry in Curious Kids World. Wait. The world of art for kids is exciting. They blink paintbrush or fingers in splash of colors, painting the sky purple, improving their fine motor skills. Art becomes math when they count pieces and colors. It becomes science when they feel texture of different materials. Creating art is magical, boosting self-confidence. Children learn self-expression in the field of poetry, learning the natural development of rhymes, improving speech and writing skills, the formation of language skills. And as the children group together, participate and interact, they develop listening skills, learning new ideas from one another, emerging as innovative and creative kids, their eyes twinkling and smiles hopeful, a real joy to watch.
Slow.
During science practicals,
Go
they
slow.
run after the bubble, and during science practicals, they run after the bubble gleefully to burst it with their finger, observing that it is just air wrapped in soap bubble, or learn the names and functions of different types of fins of a tangible fish and the food groups categorized as bodybuilding, energy giving, and protector of diseases with food from the market like milk, eggs, meat, rice, coconut fats, bananas, spinach. There is a wealth of knowledge packed in extracurricular activities, learning through play, where visual, sound, and touch are interconnectively used, be it dramas, debates, treasure hunt, kids master chef, science practicals, poetry quiz, art, and craft. It is often said, the work will wait while you show the child the rainbow, but the rainbow won't wait while you finish the work. Entrust your child with an educator who has passion to not only make colorful kites with your child, but to fly them high on windy days, to weave squishy slime through your fingers, to pique curiosity of kids and tap their inner potential. For every child is an artist. Make their learning process an interesting one so that they get the best of all that there is, and they will only get it if we know its importance and the way to introduce it to the little world. This poem was dedicated, it is of my club, Kids Curiosity Club, which was founded in 2007. And I've been doing all these activities with these children.
Okay. Our time is over. I'm inviting you to finish this program, special program.
Great, Sakina. And thank you, Sakina. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Fatma. Thank you. Thank you for saving my life, Mr. Rashid. And
I want to recite one favorite poem of mine, Shakespeare, if time allows us.
Yes, if it's a short one.
It's a very short one, Sonnet 116. Okay, it's my favorite one. Let me not, Shakespeare is my favorite as well. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose words are known, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks, within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Thank you.
That's nice. So
Thank you.
yeah, that was very nice. And
Thank you.
thank you, Sakina. Thank you again. And
Thank you too.
okay, I think we should end this. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm really grateful, and this was my first interview. I have had many written interviews, but verbal interview, this was my very first. I was nervous, and I hope I've proved fruitful and successful. And if there are any errors, I'm sorry.
Sakina,
Just bear with
Sakina, this was my
always
first.
has to be a beginning. There is always a beginning. So thank you for being part of my beginning.
Okay. Okay, Sakina, this was my first also. So yes, it's always a first for everything. It's always
Thank
a
you
first.
for your questions. They were really nice questions, and I enjoyed answering them.
Thank you. Most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samena, about this program. You do it. It's okay. It's
Yes.
fantastic. Thank you, Sakina. You coming the first guest till Samena today. Thank you, Mr. Rashid, my friend, and thank you everybody here in the room, and thank you, Nada Hassanin. I ask you to finish the program.